a student. However, if you have your mandolin, I would say go ahead and tune up with me. I'm going to turn on the full piano so I can tune up to it as well. I would encourage you to tune. All right, now that we're tuned up, is anybody playing mandolin today? I hope you are. Tell you what, we're gonna do a little bit of music theory, talk about the mandolin for what it's worth. You have 8 strings on here, but we classify them as 4. When we know the names of the strings being G, then we have a D, an A, and then an E. It follows the same fret logic that you would with anything. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna draw that really quick, put it with the idea of the circle of fifths, and have fun doing it. If you are playing at home and you have questions, I urge you to ask questions and have fun, as always. So, for this one, we're going to go ahead and write out our lines. Oh, gee golly whiz. The first one I picked is boom, boom, boom. So at least you want to have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then 12. This being where all these awesome notes start repeating. So if you got any questions at home and you're playing mandolin and you're wondering what all these chords mean, we're going to talk about some basic chord triad theory, and it's going to make what you're doing make a little bit more sense. So when we learn chords like this that have this note, and then leave these 2 open, we're finding ourselves playing exactly what we have here on the fretboard. So for this, we're going to have a G major. Now G major has a G major, A minor, B minor, C major, D major, E minor, and an F sharp diminished. So for the mando, what we want to do is we want to learn each one of these chords and find all the intervals. The process of this relies on us doing 3 things. 1, not taking ourselves too seriously. 2, playing every day for 5 minutes, doing some sort of practicing, and I'll explain what that means in just a minute. And then 3, combine all this knowledge and start to get on a place where you can have people that understand what you're talking about when you're playing or talking to them. So if you go online and you view somebody like me saying, put your finger here and put your finger here and put your finger there, that doesn't really show you how to understand what a triad is or what a chord is. So simply, I'm gonna put it through the eyes of the mandolin. Had one of my students couldn't come today, so we're gonna do this as a recap for them, and then hopefully every Saturday do this so we can put us on the same page. I'm gonna go ahead and draw a circle down here. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a C up at the top, meaning this C is gonna be the top of where I want to be. When I go 5 notes over, I find myself going through something called the circle of fifths. C to G, G to D, D to A to E, E to B, B to F sharp, and then F sharp to C sharp. If you're following along with me, we've got do, re, mi, fa, so, la, ti, do. If I had 2 hands, I'm not gonna put that on my conga, I'd do something like this. Every time I count out a key or a structure, I would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This relates that we know how to play a diatonic scale, aforementioned do, re, mi, fa, so, la, ti, do. The 1 chord is this, the G major. So when we're playing our chord, hold on. We have a 1 chord, we have a 4 chord, and a 5 chord. This is how we read those 7 diatonics. Hey everybody, hi from Russia, how's it? Free music theory, yeah, absolutely, free music theory. I hope you enjoy it. This is boring. Bye, Kelly. Unless you're like me, you're a music nerd, and this is super thrilling. This is stuff I love. This is beyond, it kind of is, but not so terribly. Watch this. C, D, E, F, G are the first 5 in the key of C. When we play C, D, E, F, G in a diatonic scale, we go to the next key. The next key has 1 sharp. That first sharp is F. Therefore, I'm just going to write it here. It just so happens when you go this way, it's called the circle of fourths. And when you go this way, it's called the circle of fifths. Now, what I'm explaining through the eyes of the circle of fifths is you don't have to know too much about music theory, the blah, blah, blah part, to actually just put your hand up and go, okay, G. Now throw up 5 fingers, G, A, B, C, D. That one doesn't even include that sharp 7, which we would have called the 7th. G major, A minor, B minor, C major, D major, E minor, F sharp diminished, G. That's the way we hear it. Yes, absolutely. So on this side, we do our sharps in orange, because orange is such a nice color. And then on this side, we've got our flats. These are our accidentals. They're the only 3 we have, and the one we're missing, we don't really name, but it is every single one of the other notes. This is a C natural. This is a F natural. Now the concept is, you don't write that because we want to be super lazy, because there's a lot to learn in actually doing this. So you want to omit the things that just kind of are like easy. This makes way more sense when you're learning something called contrabass or chord analyzation, when we're looking at inversions. Sometimes we don't even write the actual inversion type. We just put the notation there. Cool, subbed and like, oh, cool, thanks for being here. I hope you do enjoy this. We will get to the mandolin for you mandolin players, I swear. And hopefully, if I'm talking too fast, please ask me to slow down. Otherwise, I'm a fast talker, lots of information, and you can go back and watch these at any time. They'll be on the channel. The other remainings are going to be these. Major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished. All of these have an uppercase Roman numeral, or it has a lowercase Roman numeral. Notice that the 7th has a lowercase. That's because the construction of a chord, aforementioned, G, B, D, in the key of G major, includes the 1, 3, 5. So when we subsequently move these over and we keep doing that, we get an A minor, a B minor, C major, D major, E minor. And this will make sense because in the key of C, where we learn everything, the minor second is a D minor, D, F, A. There are no sharps in the key of C major. So when we move over, we must include that sharp. Hence, when we go through the circle of fifths, we find ourselves layering on each equivalent. So when we get all the way down here to B, there has 5 sharps. You guessed it. F, C, G, D, and A. Each one of those becomes the note that keeps going. Now, you can either think about it, the note before it is it, or you could use a circle of fifths, or you could use your hand. If you go to this channel, there are a multitude of different things doing music theory, where we answer questions and we build a music community. Also, a lot of live events. Check out the calendar. When we keep going through the facts of this, you'll notice that each one is the note in front of it. This is just the way that I show the circle fifths. You'll also notice that I didn't write the root back here, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. That's because a scale has 7 notes. That 8th one often confused me when I was learning how to do this in the first place, which is why I omit it from it now. You should know that the 1 is the 8. Then we add extension chord from there. We'll talk about that. When we go to F sharp, the note right before F sharp is E, so absolutely E sharp, and then the note right before here is B sharp. I will explain why we don't say things twice. Like I wouldn't say G, A, B, C, D, E, G flat, G. That'd be ridiculous. I wouldn't say things talking while I'll say saying. I wouldn't do it that now. A mirror. Yep. Please never slow down. I'm naturally like this. It isn't anything that's inside of me besides craziness. All right. When we're going through this, I just showed the circle of sharps. We're going to go the other way and show the circle of fourths. Here we go. What's 4 notes from F? F, G, A, B. Now, check this. You cannot skip the note that you're talking about. When we talk chromatically, we have those are all 12 chromatic notes that make up a Western scale. The do, re, mi, sol, la, ti, do, that is called the solfege. That divides it into 7 tones, 2 of which have the same key signature. When we play a G and E, they have the same marking. So when you see something like this on a treble clef, the reason why the top line is the top line F is because in the treble clef, when we draw it, if we get rid of this top, that looks like what lowercase letter?
Oh, you betcha, it's going to be the G. So this is the G clef. When we draw that in, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, that makes every note in that scale F sharp.
I digress.
So we had our B flat, B, C, D, E. Now check it out. Circle of sharps isn't as easy as a circle of fourths. The note that you want that is your new sharp is the sharp that's in front of it. So when you learn how to do F, B, E, A, D, D is actually here, so I'm going to move that out a little bit. D, G, and then right here, C flat. 1 flat, 2 flat, 3 flat, 4 flat. We're going to write that so it's a little bit more symmetrical. 4 flat, 5, 6, and 7. Notice how these tree right down here, they overlap. That's because these are called enharmonic equivalences. When talking, as I said, I wouldn't say G, A, B, C, D, E, G flat. G flat is an F sharp. Ta-da! So, I know this might be over the top. The idea is you do it every day, draw the circle fifths, you get accustomed to playing it with music. The reason why we use this, if we're playing something on a, like let's say we're playing a Led Zeppelin tune, and you're listening to like, where's the pick? What key would that be in? We're playing an A minor. Please disregard my finger, I think I smashed it. We got an A minor to a quick G. Everybody know this one? Prince of Peace is born, walk the line along D. Those chords are all in the key. The beauty of music theory is when you learn the key, then you could break all the rules, and that is the most fun. Learning how to do something, then learning yourself, letting yourself break those rules. Hence, let's show a little concept right here. If we're going to be playing on the mandolin, and just picking up where my lesson left off with my student, we're looking how to see chord changes and see what we're playing through. I think last week we did a Grateful Dead song. How about this week we do a fish tune? Oh yeah, that would be a fun one. The pressure builds, you buy a gift. I think it's in E, let's do it in G. So here's our concept. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. If my memory serves me correct, and my band members from Official would hate this, but can't remember what key it's in. I think it's in the key of E. So we're going to draw it out through the eyes of G. G major, A minor, B minor, C major, D major, E minor, and then our F sharp. Now let's check that circle fifths. G has 1 sharp, that sharp is F sharp. G, A, B, C, D. D has 2 sharps. When I say D major, E minor, F sharp minor. It's the third, it carries over from the G. So when we go around that circle fifths, use your imagination, it was right here. When we go around that circle fifths, we retain all of those sharps. Remember the flats, just laid it out in front of you. You know what the next flat's gonna be, it's right there for you. Sharp's a little bit harder. So when we're going through this concept, the next key that we would do would be D, E, F sharp, G, A, oh, horrible G, not a great speller. G, A, and then B minor, and then we add the sharp right before D. Ta-da! When we go to our next key, D, E, F sharp, G, A. A has 3 sharps. One of them is going to be that F sharp, so you can put it in. You can also put in the C sharp that we attained from playing the D major. Oh, and then we add on the last. It would be our diminished. This concept leads us to the key that we're looking for, E major. E major has 4 sharps. One of them is F sharp, one of them is C sharps, one of them is G sharp, and one of them is now D sharp. So when we go through it, we can play our E, F sharp, again, horrible spelling, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, and then D sharp. That's our diminished. So when we're playing this song, we're going to play it in the key of G, but I'm pretty sure Fish does this in the key of E. Don't make no mind. We can teach ourselves how to do that right now. The pressure builds. You buy a gift. You're hoping that your dread will lift. It glitters on her like a glass. It comes to pass. apologize to Lucille. A drive with them, I've taught you film. Your friends can find you in their world, one by one, and string your pearls. So, what chords are we playing? G major, C major. Now these are just 2-finger chords. You could play them with the lower extremity and have the G, or heck, even 4 fingers, and have these long chords which cover everything for staccato. Or just leave them open so you can have long flowing legato notes. Either way, our chord structure and progression is going to be a 1, 4, 1, and then here's the beauty of it. Rather than taking the chord that's in the key of G and playing it as a major 7th, we're going to take that and we're going to change it to the minor 7th, meaning this 7 right here is going to become a flat 7. Boom, blam. 5, 6, 7. And then boom, blam. Rome's, if you ever watch this, I miss you, buddy. I hope you're doing well. We have our B flat right here. Now it's a B flat. So what in the key of G major would be our backdoor resolution? That's what it's called. When we have a resolution that's a T-do, it just falls right into place. If we have something that has a backdoor resolution, that means we use the minor 7th. In the case of G major, A minor, B minor, C major, D major, E minor, and F sharp diminished should be that kind of like, but we don't have that. We've got a, still a resolution, but a backdoor resolution. Or at least side name that. I don't really actually know where that came from, but I have heard that through almost every genre that I played in, jazz, samba, stuff like that. So, when we're doing this, what does that note become? Oh, betcha, becomes an F major. Wonderful. So, not really looking for the other 2 keys, but if we did, it would be D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C natural, because C is the minor 7th. Getting rid of the major 7th, flattening or diminishing it by the smallest increment in the Western ear is called a minor 2nd or a half step. The feeling you get from a diminishing note is that it builds more tension the further away it goes from the prime numbers. As we aforementioned, in each chord, the 1, 3, 5, and then the 1 again, is part of something called the overtone series. Those are stable notes, meaning every single other note that's not those wants to be them. So, are there any questions about this nonsense? Have we lost interest? There's a couple of people here watching. How cool. So, if you have any questions, please, by all means, throw it through. Our F natural will be what we're doing. So when we're playing this progression, in fact, I'll just redraw that for the E. So when we're doing this progression, we're playing this in 4/4. Yes. Our first chord is going to be a 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to go to, what chord do we go to? You're right. We went to the 4 chord. 2, 3, 4. Went to the 1 chord again. And then because we've rewritten it in our minds and in our heads, I could just leave this up there, but put this 7 chord here. That would give me an F major. I'm going to close that bar out, and then we're going to go down to the next measure. Just a single bar, because we're still part of this idea or this form. The next one we're going to do is going to be our 1 chord. We're going to play our 4 again. You can see how the repetition of this is becoming the cadence. And then our 1 chord again, except we're not going to be going, oh, get out of here. I like to kill things. Get out of here. So when we get through here, we're not going to be going to the 4 chord again. We're going to the 5 and then maybe the 5 dominant. So in the key of G, here we go. Here's the dominant chord. So we've got the 5 and then maybe like a 5/7 chord. That's going to bring us to this. So the reason why we write in Chord Pro like this, or at least in chord charting, if we wanted to switch to a minor chord or use negative harmony or switch keys altogether, which we're going to do to the key of E in a second. Oh, you know what? End. We would have ourselves being able to follow a certain criteria. This one just means we're going to play it kind of always in the way. A G major, a C major, a G major, and then an F major. A G major, a C major, a G major, and then a D, D7. Those chords, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Even if you're doing it cut, double time, fast time, you can even draw in extra measures, but I find this is fine. You can even change your time signature if you like. Hey Tom, how you doing, buddy? It's good to see you. It's been a little minute. This helps me to go up here and say, cool, what chords are we playing? We're playing a G major. We have a couple minutes left, so I'm going to talk about modal theory because I love modes, love scales. So how about we draw in a purple so it doesn't go crazy on the board. We're going to name all of our notes all the way up to the top here. This lowest line is a G. If we skip, we have an A. We're playing major, and we're including the F, which means every one of these Fs needs to be like we're playing in the key of C. So let's just act like we're playing in the key of C. Cool. So when we have this, B goes to C, C goes to D, D goes to E, E goes to F. There's our F natural rather than a sharp for the key of C, because we're playing in something called G mixolydian. So for this song, we're going to play G mixolydian, and then we're going to be playing over the tops of those chords all major scales. So in the key of C, you would play C Ionian, or just C major. And then when you go to the F, you would play F Ionian. Now you can't get outside the box and play something a little bit different, but we're just going to keep with that. And when you go to the D major, you can play the D major. You can play a D7 or D mixolydian, because you eventually are going to be going to that 7 chord. So those are the modes I would use over the top of it. And I'm switching my colors back to black because I can't see this. And then when we go up to our top note here, our 12th note is going to be absolutely G. Next line here is going to be our D. So we've got D, skips the D sharp of the E flat, goes to an E. There is no space between E and F. E sharp is F, F flat is E. There's our F we want from G mixolydian. Remember, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7. When we move through here, we're going to find G, A, B, C, and then our 12th fret again. So we can do double duty here and just throw these up. When I go through here, I can do 2 lines at once. Can you? When we're doing here, E to F, A to B, go to G. See how all these correlate? You will always have G and C together. Always. If you had 5 strings on this, there would be a C here. But you don't, because that's not how they're made. Okay. A, B, C, D, do, do, do. All right, there is our fretboard. Here is our G mixolydian is writ out on the board. Our D mixolydian has all of this except for our D mixolydian uses this note right here. So the idea is you can solo over the top of this whole thing if you want to, omitting that, but that would then change your D major to your D minor. Not a big deal, but it does change the tonality of that last one. Am I from Manchester? Manchester, England, England. Oh, you're talking to Tom. That makes sense. Philly, I believe. Oh, there it is, yeah. Not the docs yet. Never slow down. Did anybody have a question from up in top here? Yeah, it is way beyond. Hey, you know what? I hope that person that said this was boring for music theory comes around at one time. I also thought this was very boring at one time. Now I find it absolutely thrilling. Okie dokie. So going through here, we see that our chord structure moves around along the lines of playing a solo over something like this. The pressure builds. Hi, Jackson. When you're going through these chords, you can play them all with the open position. As I said, you can do them staccato. But the notes that I would use over the top of this for the solo would be a G, A, B, C, D, E, and then an F natural. That gives us our G7 tone. A very dominant sounding, like it's gonna go somewhere. In fact, it feels like the B diminished. It feels like it wants to go to the C. That's the whole purpose of the diminish. It's a lending or a leading tone. So going through here and we're seeing ourselves moving through the concept of all these notes. The notes I would choose over the top of the solo with. D7, I absolutely would use D, E, F, F sharp. Frankly, moving through notes when playing helps. I would find myself doing G major, C major, G major, and then F major. No matter how you play that F major, what inversion you do it as, the notes that should be found in the key of F major include a B flat. So I just avoid that like the plague. And then, hey Jackson, do you have any questions about this? I know the music theory is a little over the top. What we've done is we've written out all the notes on the fretboard of the mandolin. We've looked at a progression, which happens to be a fish tune called Sparkle, I think. Oh, just the cheapy Ibanez. I think it was a $200 Mando A-drop series. I've had it for like 2.5 years. Once I put about, I don't know, 100 hours on it, it actually just melded into place. Did a quick action setup. I enjoy the way it sounds with the single pickup, and I put it through some pedals, which make it sound lots of fun when you're doing lots of crazy things over the top of it. I don't get too fancy, but I play it for like more like psychedelic rock and stuff like that when there's too many other instruments. It's always fun to pull out another instrument. So what we're doing is going through the process of this. We are explaining just how you could change the major seventh, which would have been an F sharp, to an F natural. That's what this is all about. And then changing these modes up here so we could solo on them. And tell you what, I actually have a student right now, so I'm gonna have to cut this off. It's so very nice that everybody popped in today. And I have one final question. Would you be my friend and subscribe? Put a thumbs up, put something cool in the comment section. And if you haven't checked out the channel, please do. There's a plethora of different videos that are on many different instruments, on many different subjects. Have a great day. Aloha.